Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom. This is your Akazaki Yahoo, and I start this broadcast as I would start any broadcast by first of all giving all praise, honor, and great esteem unto the Most High Power, Yahuwah, Bahashem, Yahushua Hamashiach, and to the 12 tribes of Israel who are scattered to the four quarters of the earth. I say shalom wabarukim, that is peace and blessings. And I cannot wait to the day that the Most High brings us back together and we are once again 12 tribes, one family, one nation, under the Most High power, under one covenant. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Yes,
Hallelujah.
indeed. Yes, indeed. I'm joined this afternoon by my very good Ak Yaliel. Shabbat Shalom, my king.
Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom. Have a Baruch Shabbat day to the 12 tribes and the whole nation.
Hallelujah. All praises indeed.
Hallelujah.
And to my most esteemed Ak Kenanaya, Shabbat Shalom, my king.
Hey, Shabbat Shalom, Maki. Shabbaton Yasharal. Call Halal Yahweh Bahashem. Barak Hashem.
Hallelujah, hallelujah. Yes, indeed, yes, indeed. It is another Sabbath Yom, and we are once again back bringing praise, honor, and great esteem to the name of the power of Israel and lifting him up and shouting out to the 12 tribes of the nation of Israel scattered to the four quarters. And we are beginning a brand new book, the book of Yeshayahu or Isaiah, and our plan this afternoon, this evening, is to get through the first seven chapters in the book of Yeshayahu. So let's get directly to it. Looking forward to it. We've completed the book of Job, and here we are. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeshayahu, Isaiah, Yeshayahu, chapter number 1, the rebellion of the Most High's people, verse 1. The vision of Yeshayahu, the son of Amos, which he saw concerning Yehuda and Jerusalem in the days of Uzziah, uh, Yatham, Ahaz, and Hezekiah, kings of Yehuda.
Okay.
Verse 2.
You know,
Oh, go ahead.
Salakia.
Mhm.
Uh, I was gonna see if we can look at his name as well.
Oh, Isaiah?
Um,
Okay,
yeah,
con.
Khan.
Okay. Slack,
But
all
I
praises.
don't know why I was thinking that Isaiah was before Hezekiah and but I just but I remember Hezekiah was the one that was ill, and
Hmm.
Yeshayahu actually went to him, was getting ready to tell him that your time is short, and he was leaving, going back home.
Hmm.
Well, I'm not trying to ruin it. I just thought that
No.
was later. I don't know. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. No sweat. Um, yeah, so Yeshayah, is that how?
Yeshayah. Mm-hmm.
Yeshayah, okay, con. So it's Isaiah 32 times. Yeah, yeah, that's
Yeshayah.
yes, yeah, yes, yeah. So that's kind of the different renditions of the name Yahuwah has saved.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, very, very powerful name. And major prophet, son of Amos, who and I wonder about this major prophet, minor prophet. Is that? I mean, we hadn't read that anywhere. You know what I'm saying?
Nah.
Outside of the commentary. You know what I'm saying? So is that even a thing we should even be dealing with? You know, you know what I'm saying? Like
I
I
think
know
people
these are the
categorize.
main ones. Oh, Slacky, go ahead, Doc.
I was gonna say I think people put it that way. Like how the Most High was saying with Moses, he talks face to face
Hmm.
with Mary and all them. He talks it through like dreams and things of that nature.
Hmm.
I think that's how people categorize like major and minor, like people who talk directly to the Most High versus people who receive things like through visions and dreams.
Oh, okay.
Mm.
Well, I heard a preacher break it down, and this was in Christianity, of course. He said the major prophets had the biggest reach, and the minor prophets had more of a local reach. So it's kind of like when you was they called you minor. because you went. But that really doesn't make sense because here we are on the other side of the world. You know what I'm saying? Reading all the prophets, the what's called major and what's called minor, and we've read almost all the minor prophets, so-called
Hmm.
minor prophets. But so that really, I don't know if that really even holds weight because we reading all of them. So, but I don't know. Maybe the information at that time, but like I said, we hadn't seen it in the script as described as that. Like the major prophet, we see it right here, and
Yeah.
that's what kind of prompted me to say that. Like, but this is commentary. This isn't. You know what I'm saying? This is what
Yeah,
they're saying. This is.
ain't nothing in the scriptures that
Yeah.
say like the Most High telling you this is a major, this is a minor, or
Right.
somebody saying that that's just later. But
Yeah.
I believe
Yeah.
it's supposed to be how I heard it interpreted as far as like how the person receives the message, like whether an angel or the Most High Himself came directly to them, or
Mhm.
they had visions or dreams from the Most High that tell them what's going on.
Okay. Okay. Well, that's reasonable. That's pretty reasonable, I believe so.
Like
All
when
right.
the messages came to Abraham and the Most High was there, like he would have been considered like a major prophet
Mm-hmm.
because he was directly talking to you know angelic beings.
Con.
But like
Con.
who have like the dreams and the visions, they'll be called like minor prophets.
Okay. Con. Well, we were familiar with Amos. I think we read. We did. Did we know that name? I mean, we know that name, but did we? Let's look at it real quick.
We looked at it, but I don't remember what it meant.
Strong.
Strong.
Amos. M-O-Z. I was saying
Hmm.
Amos, like with an S, but it's A-M-O-Z. I didn't realize that. I'm looking right at it.
Yeah, but I'm wondering as well. Is this the? I guess this isn't the same
Amos is in
Amos as the prophet. Yeah.
I don't think so. No, I don't think that's the same one because that Amos is MOS, and this is
Hmm.
a MO. And I say that without even, what I'm saying. His only father of Isaiah. That's all we get here. So we don't see prophet in the scriptures, and we don't even see his name anywhere outside of Second Kings, Second Chronicles, and Isaiah. You know what I'm saying? So I would venture to say no, but
Hmm.
yeah, I would venture to say no, but I couldn't say that unemphatic, because if that was the case, it should be in that book as well. So, all right, so we are familiar with the rest of these kings here as we went through them in the Book of Kings and Chronicles and whatnot. So, verse 2: Hear, O Shamaim, and give ear, O earth, for Yahuwah hath spoken. I have nourished and brought up children, and they have rebelled against me. The ox knoweth his owner, the donkey his master's crib, but Israel do not know. My people do not consider. Ah, sinful nation, a people laden with iniquity, a seed of evildoers, children that are corrupters. They have forsaken Yahuwah. They have provoked the Kodesh one of Israel unto anger. They are gone away backwards. Oh my. This this is starting off with whew, heavy, heavy
It
already.
come.
Yeah. Verse 5. Why should you be stricken any more? You will revolt more and more. The whole head is sick, and the whole heart faints.
You know,
Go ahead,
and
Elder.
this is what is being brought out based upon of our people's actions uh during the reigns of what did verse 1 say? Who was this Yashayah who prophesied? So during the days of Uzziah, Jonathan, Ahaz, and even Hezekiah,
Hmm.
this is what is going on with our ancestors. This is
Con,
what they're doing.
Absolutely, absolutely. They so far out, and he spent that first little bit just telling why this is coming to this. So
Mm-hmm.
let's tell you, it's gonna be some. It's gonna be some whooping on here. Uh,
Indeed.
yeah. Verse 6: From the sole of the foot even unto the head, there is no soundness in it, but wounds and bruises and purifying sores. Oh, that's not. Is that what I say? I said purifying. That's not purifying.
It's
Put
is future
put pu-
putrefying,
putrefying sores. Which I'm sure putrefying is like a extreme. Let's take
like
a
a
look at that.
protruding sore.
Oh, okay. Well, let's take. Oh, okay. Like protruding. That makes sense. Let's see. Tari,
Mm-hmm.
and oh, fresh or new sores.
Mm-hmm.
Like you steady doing new stuff, new messed up stuff.
Mm.
You adding on top of what you. Ooh, wee. That's worse.
God.
That's worse. Putrefying sores. They have not been closed, neither bound up, neither mollified with ointment or mollified with ointment. Verse 7: Your country is desolate, your cities are burned with fire, your land, strangers devour it in your presence, and it is desolate, as overthrown by strangers. And the daughter of Zion is left as a cottage in the vineyard, as a lodge in the garden of uh, cucumbers, as a besieged city. Verse 9: Except Yahuwah of hosts have left unto us a very small remnant, we should have been as Sodom, and we should have been as Gomorrah. Mm. So Sodom and Gomorrah was completely annihilated.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody was dead, minus Lot and his two daughters. So, whew, this headline reads: The Most High has had enough. Verse 10. Whew, this is gonna be sticky here. Verse 10. Hear the word of Yahuwah, you rulers of Sodom. Give ear unto the law of your power, you people of Gomorrah. He's telling them that's who they are now.
Mm-hmm.
He's telling us, Salaki, let me put myself back into it. Look, I, look, for the good stuff, I want to be in there, but for the bad stuff, I'm like, oh, that's them. No, that's us. Salakia. Verse 11. To what purpose is the multitude of your sacrifice unto me, saith Yahuwah? I am full of burnt offerings of rams and the fat of fed beasts, and I delight not in the blood of bullocks or of lambs or of he goats. When you come to appear before me, who have required this at your hand, to tread my courts, bring no more vain oblations. Incense, incense in the Slakia. Incense is an abomination unto me. The new moons and Sabbaths, the calling of assemblies, I cannot away with it. Slakia, away with. It is iniquity. Even the solemn meetings.
You know,
So,
and I've oh Slock, yeah, you had
no, no,
something.
go ahead. Oh, go ahead, go ahead.
I've heard people try to bring this out into saying why we shouldn't be trying to gather for feast and why we shouldn't have to be trying to keep commandments, but this is not what he's saying. Uh, we're still supposed to be doing these things, but uh, we're not supposed to be sinning. You know what I
Right,
mean? The way that we're doing things is not pleasing in the Father's sight. You know what I mean? It's not instructing us not to do this.
right,
What he's already instructed us to do. It's not what
right.
he's saying.
Correct. Yeah, yeah. He's saying that you doing these things, you following the culture that he's given us, but you're not doing it with the right spirit. You're not doing it
Uh-huh.
in the right ruach. You're just doing it to be doing it. You know what I'm saying? Like it's almost like Dawid. Slacky, I hate to do that. I hate to do it to Dawid, but it's almost like Dawid tried to kind of use a technicality, like, oh, if Uriah is dead, then I can take his wife. So send him to the hardest part of the battle. And my hand didn't move against him, but you know what I'm saying? You caused him to die because you put him in a place where, you know what I'm saying? And that's the type of stuff, and that's why I'm using that example. But that's the type of stuff that they're doing. We are, when I'm saying there again, Salakia, we were putting, uh, we were not, we were trying to usurp the law. So, okay, I can't do this, but I can do this. So I'm gonna do right up to is a sin, and then I'm gonna turn it back. Like, no,
Hmm.
that's not what the Most High want. The Most High wants you to serve Him in spirit and in truth and
That's
in the
right.
law. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
So
Right.
they were just, yeah, we were just way off. And it's like, yeah, I keep saying they. You see, I keep separating myself. I don't even mean to do that. It just comes out that way. And it's like, yeah, um, for that. But yeah, and I'm aware of what you're saying. Where they're saying that, oh, see, we know you're supposed to be doing that. No, we're supposed to
Hmm.
be doing it with the right heart, with the right
Hmm.
mind, with the right ruach and kind. So, you had something, Yaliel?
Right. Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, he don't want us just going through the motions, like like he said he got tired of the offerings, like how many offerings we got to bring because the other thing was doing all the time. It's like it's not a good like if you just got the offerings to bring just because you want to sin. Like
Right.
he would rather you not have to bring an offering at all.
Kind, yeah. And you
But
just do right.
most
You know what I'm saying?
people just like, okay, I know I've been sinning. Let me go ahead and get my offerings together so I can
Hmm.
go ahead and bring them. Like now, it's like prevent the sin in the first place so you don't have to bring as many offerings or any offerings at all.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. That's what he told uh not Solomon, uh Shaul, King Shaul, uh King Saul. Obedience is better than sacrifice. You know what I'm saying? So like, oh, I'm just gonna
Right.
bring these and sacrifice them. Like, well, obedience is better. It's better to obey and do what he said rather than to offer him a sacrifice or something he said he
Hmm.
wanted you to kill. Like, that's just off. And and I always gotta, like I said, I knew we was gonna get a lot of this in this book. But remember, the things that are written aforetime are written for our learning. So yeah, it's a lot that we're gonna be able to pick out of this going through this book here. Verse 14, he says, "Your new moon and your appointed feasts, my soul hateth. They are trouble unto me. I am weary to bear them. And when you spread forth your hands, I will hide my eyes from you. Yea, when you make many prayers, I will not hear. Your hands are full of blood. Mm, my
Mm.
gracious, most high power, forgive us, please. Whew, that is not what you want to hear from your power. I, I just imagine them hearing this from a man and how they would like, what? How dare you? You know what I'm saying? Like I can see them jumping straight to that rather than saying, "Oh man, we messing up. We going off." Rather than accepting responsibility, but to hear Isaiah saying it, they like, "It's you. You saying this. This ain't the Most High saying this to us. This is you." So, verse 16: Wash you, make you clean, put away the evil of your doings from before my eyes. Cease to do evil. Learn to do well. Seek judgment. Uh, re- relieve the oppressed. Judge the fatherless. Plead for the widow.
Hmm. You know, those were the things that they weren't doing, uh, as well as he says that we should have been destroyed like Sodom and Gomorrah. Uh, and like when I hear that, I'm thinking about what was going on in Sodom and Gomorrah.
Okay.
it was homosexuality, abomination. Um, and what the picture that I always had in my head was just like really like a lewd city. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean?
Con.
But we know that our ancestors were spiritually fornicating with these other and committing adultery with these other deities.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's why he's referenced that Sodom and Gomorrah. I don't know if we said that or not, but that's I meant to have said that before.
Yeah, yeah. I think definitely there was a lot of that idolatry, a lot of that,
Hmm.
that type of wickedness, and that's something. All praises to the Most High. That's something that I think a lot of us, and I'm not gonna say a lot of us, but I will speak for myself, and you brothers can chime in on this as well. I think he's taken that out of us because I think that looking that from what we've read thus far, like even before that, I've had no desire to deal with any other. There was a time when, without this knowledge of the truth here, I had considered Islam. And when I say considered, I mean like slightly thought about. But when I found out that Islam didn't deal with the Messiah, even though the Messiah at that time for me was the JC character,
Hmm.
uh, I was like, nah, I had already had a relationship built there. You know what I'm saying? Even though it was built on folly, uh, it wasn't built on what was in the text or what he was teaching. It was built on, the ideology that this white
Hmm.
man, had saved, all of us, and all we had to do is believe on him, and everything would be good. So even with that false pretense, I still had no interest in that because I knew that. Well, my thinking was that first day service was going to get me to, what I'm saying, salvation, and I wasn't gonna fool with that other stuff. So, but and I know that was that ideally that was an idol in itself, but my heart was always to the Messiah, to the Most High, not, what I'm saying, it wasn't that because that's what I thought. That was my understanding of it at that time. So, but yeah, I don't. I've never. Slack you. I have not attempted to go to anything else. And it's not because I'm so righteous or I'm so good. It's because the Most High haven't let that come into me as a, what I'm saying, and he's in my years. Like I've never thought something else could be sufficient ever. I was even leery of the truth. You know what I'm saying? I had to like let me see what this thing about before I, you know what I'm saying, because I couldn't just, you know, transition to something else without knowing what it was. I had to learn about it first. So I took like 2 weeks to learn, and everything I learned was positive. And
Hmm.
so here I am years and years later, and greatly increased in knowledge and understanding. So, but yeah, I think that and I've said all that because again, to reiterate, I think that in some of us, uh, or maybe a lot of us, he's taking that out because otherwise, and I don't know, maybe it's this captivity as well that this so-called wannabe Christian nation, and what that's really about. But at the same time, there's not an abundance of idols, or well, there is, but the way they amalgamated it, it makes it into that it's pointing to the Most High, that it's pointing to the power of the Scriptures. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know. Anybody else got any ideas on that before we move on?
Nothing off the top of my head.
Okay, con. Yeah, well, I was just kind of thinking about that, but yeah, I never had a situation where I felt like I should worship something else or be a part of something else, or what I'm saying, outside of the scriptures. It's like I knew the scriptures. I knew that was where I was going to rest. You know what I'm saying? That was where my heart was going to be. So, all right, let's
You
continue.
know,
Oh, go ahead. Doc.
I would say um, most of the information I would say I've come across only I can always point to a similitude of something within the scriptures. So I'm like, if everything's related to the scriptures, I'm trying to think back to like simpler times where you know there wasn't as many people in the world and everybody had to start from somewhere. So if we get like a beginning story here, then if this is truly the source, I'm gonna find things similar in other situations all across the world, but
Hmm.
everything isn't the same.
Right.
It's like I always
Con.
say, like you know how they saying the devil is in the details. Is
Hmm.
like a lot of things look similar up until a certain point, and then when you get to the fine print, you'll see
Right.
like the differences. But a lot of stuff, even down to the way they do things,
Hmm.
you can find in the scriptures. But it all boils down to like who you doing it to and what you're doing it for.
Right.
So
Con.
like uh, types of worship, types of sacrifice. You know, you can find same things in the scriptures and other things, but like who they doing it to and who they what they doing it for is the thing.
Con. Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah. I agree with you on that, and that's what I was trying to say. In this society, it's pretty much two lanes. You got the Christian lane and you got the Muslim lane. And if you're in one of those lanes, or you just on the side, you're on the sideline. So it's not where in the land, they had all of these idols that all basically were Satan, and you know what I'm saying, that they would worship. And even when the Most High would call them out for doing it, they would still like continue to make offerings and sacrifices and all of these things to these idols, even burning their children in fire, which he told them don't do that. He told us
Hmm.
don't do that. I'm separating myself again. He told us don't do that, and yet our people still did it. And because and I didn't realize this till later, and we're gonna move on here. But you know, the reason that they continued, despite the Most High making basically threatening and telling them what he was gonna do, was because they honestly felt in their spirit that these idols were giving them something. You know what I'm saying? Was doing something for them, and that's why they would continue to deal with those. So, but let's move on here. It says, "Let us reason." The headline here, verse 18. Come on, come now, and let us reason together, said Yahuwah. Though your sins be as scarlet, they shall be as white as snow. Though they be red like crimson, they shall be as wool.
Hallelujah.
Praise Yah indeed. Verse 19. If you be willing, if you be willing and obedient, you shall eat the good of the land. But if you refuse and rebel, you shall be devoured with the sword. For the mouth of Yahuwah have spoken it. That's enough for me. I'll do it. I've seen what you've done. I will obey. I will obey. Just tell me what you want me to do. And that's I don't know why people don't, what I'm saying, don't do that. But man, let's continue. Zion corrupted, to be redeemed. Verse 21. How is the faithful city become an harlot? It is full of judgment. Unrighteousness lies in it. Unrighteousness lies in it. But now murderers. Thy silver is become dross, thine wine mixed with water. Mm, they drinking watered down wine.
Right.
We drinking watered down wine, Salaki. Verse 23. The princes are rebellious. The companies are of thieves. Salaki, the companions of thieves. Uh, everyone loves gifts and follow after reward. They judge not the fatherless, neither do they cause the widow to come unto them. Therefore saith the master, Yahuwah Shava'ot, the mighty one of Israel, I, I will ease me of my adversaries and avenge me of mine enemies. And I will turn my hand upon you and purely purge away your dross and take away all your tin. Let's check out that dross. What is that? Uh,
I mean, just like worthless or no, made like
Sieg,
Mhm.
to move back or away. I would take away usually of silver. To move back or away. Dross, usually of
Isn't the
silver.
dross, isn't that what you get water from?
Uh,
And
I,
I
I'm
could be wrong, but
I'm not familiar with this word at all.
yeah, I
I'm gonna
want to say
Google.
yeah, like a silver dross is like what you would, you tip that into the water bucket and you
Oh, okay.
tip it
Like
back.
okay. Gotcha. Okay, con. Yeah. I know what you're talking about. Like what do we call it now? A
It's really just a big spoon or a dipper, a big dipper
ladle.
spoon or something.
Yeah, like a ladle, I think is something. Is that ring a bell, ladle?
No, I've never heard of that. Sounds
Never heard of
French.
that. Oh, okay, con. Something regarding worthless or rubbish, foreign
Mm.
matter, material, waste. Okay, con. Well, interesting. Okay, let's continue. Yeah, I'm
what
thinking
about
that what you talking about that makes sense. He said, "I will take away all your tin." I wonder why he would say that. Like, what is the tin that he's referencing?
Maybe some type of monetary value or something of value.
Bet el, bet
You know,
el,
we look at 10 now as something
worthless.
that's not, you know, it's like, yeah, exactly. But,
Right, right.
back in antiquity it might have been different, kind of
Yeah,
like us, like
right.
you know,
Kind. Yeah.
that
Uh,
could be impurity.
oh,
what's
like
it
the
I
impurity.
I think it's like the impurity of like he's talking about the silver, but he's like you'll be refining like the dross, taking away the dross, like the impurity.
Impurity.
Like
Okay.
mm, okay.
like if it's mixed with silver or a different or alloy, it's not the
Hmm.
silver itself, but it's a different type of metal mixed in.
Okay. Kind. Yeah, that's what it
You know,
says here. Alloy tin dross of Yisrael metaphor. So yeah, just yeah, kind. Well, let's
stop
continue.
using it.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Verse 26. It says, "And I will restore your judges as at first, and your counselors as at the beginning. Afterward, you shall be called the city of righteousness and the faithful city." So now he's saying, I'm gonna put you back and I'm gonna give you what you've been missing, your judges and your counselors. So we know about the judges from the book of Judges and how those judges were basically redeemers of Israel. And we know based on the wisdom that we've read how important a counselor is and how imperative those things are. So that's some good news. Verse 27: Zion shall be redeemed with judgment, and her covenants with righteousness. Slacky, and her converts. Slacky, I said covenants. Her converts with righteousness. and the destruction of the transgressors and of the sinners shall be together, and they that forsake Yahuwah shall be consumed, for they shall be ashamed of the oak which you desire, and you shall confirm Slacky, and you shall be confirmed for the garden that you have chosen. I said
Confounded.
confirmed. Slacky, confounded. Slacky. I don't know how I be seeing these words and calling them incorrect. Let me read that again. Verse 29. For they shall be ashamed of the oak which you have desired, and you shall be confounded in the for the garden that you have chosen. For you shall be as an oak whose leaf fadeth, and as a garden that have no water. Yeah, like a desolate place. That's what he mentioned earlier. Verse 31. And the strong shall be as tow, and the maker of it as a spark, and they shall both burn together, and none shall quench them. So my first thought was, what does he mention? And he say tow, but that's got to be something like some kind of like a fuel or something that would burn, and then the maker shall be as spark, and they shall both burn together. So yeah, he pretty much told us, but let's just take a look at that real quick. Niha ni oreth
Neoreth.
neoreth Khan Todarki. Uh yeah, a strand of flax tow, a shaking from flax when beating. So yeah, flax would be something that's really dry. And so that makes sense. You know what I'm saying? When you put it in that proper perspective. So yeah, chapter number one, that's pretty intense. But let's continue chapter two here. The most high uh universal reigns. Most high's universal
Mm-hmm.
reign. Verse two. Salakia, chapter 2 and verse 1. The word of Isaiah, the son of Amos, saw concerning Yehuda and Jerusalem. And it shall come to pass in the last days that the mountain of Yahuwah's house shall be established in the top of the mountains, and shall be exalted above the hills, and all the nations shall flow unto it. And many people shall go and say, come you, and let us go up to the mountain of Yahuwah, to the house of the power of Jacob, and he will teach us his ways, and we will walk in his paths. For out of Zion shall go forth the Torah, HaTorah, and the word of Yahuwah from Jerusalem. And the word of Yahuwah, that's the Mashiach.
Mm-hmm.
Hallelujah. Verse 4. Verse 4. And he shall judge among the nations, and shall rebuke many people, and they shall beat their swords into plowshares, and their spears into pruning hooks. Nation shall not lift up sword against nation, neither shall they learn war any more.
Right. So this hasn't happened yet. You know,
Con,
nations are still going to war with each other.
con,
So,
all right,
this is something in the future that we're reading
con.
about.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Good point. Verse 5. O house of Jacob, come you and talk, Slakia. Come you and let us walk in the light of Yahuwah. Therefore, you have forsaken your people, the house of Jacob, because they have, Slakia, because they be replenished from the east, and are soothsayers like the Philistines, and they please themselves in the children of strangers. What in the world? Did I read that right? And they
For
please
they
themselves in the children of strangers? Oh, yeah. Okay. Shalaki. Let's continue. I think we know what that means. Verse 7.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, what? My mind went somewhere else at first because I saw that word children, but children don't mean children like child. Children mean descendants. So, okay, kind. Verse
Mm-hmm.
7. Their land also is full of silver and gold, neither is there any end to their treasures. Their land is also full of horses, neither is there any end to their chariots. Their land is also their land also is full of idols. They worship and work with their hands. They want their own fingers, Slacky, that which their own fingers have made. So there we go. That's the cardinal. That's the
Mm-hmm.
chief going off. We before we come on, we go into the commandments. Uh, First commandment: you shall have no idol before the Most High. You shall not make unto you any graven image or any likeness of anything in the Shamaim above, or that which is in the earth beneath, or in the waters under the earth. You shall not bow down yourselves to them, nor serve them. Why? Because the Most High is a jealous power, and He'll put that iniquity, He'll visit that iniquity on the children to the third and the fourth generation. So that's not to be trifled with. Verse 9.
Come.
Uh, and the mean men bow down, and the great men humble himself. Therefore, forgive them not. And that's another thing too. He don't let that go. Like he don't, you know what I'm saying? Like I know in the Torah, an idolater is put to death, and under Hamashiach, we supposed to be able to come back from virtually anything, because a lot of us did these things in ignorance. So we got mishpachah, we got family, and grew up in other nations with idols, and
Mm-hmm.
they can repent and turn back to this, or turn back to turn to the truth, or back to the truth, I should say. But man, that idolatry, he don't take kindly to. You know what I'm
Come.
saying? You're not gonna get away. You're gonna have a red bottom,
Mm-hmm.
or a purple bottom, depending on your skin depiction.
Indeed.
Verse verse 10, verse 10. Enter unto the rock and hide you in the dust, for for fear of Yahuwah and for the glory of his majesty. The lofty rock, the lofty look of man shall be humbled, and the haughtiness of men shall be bowed down, and Yahuwah alone shall exalt in that day. So yeah, he's talking about humility, being humbled. Then he's saying the haughtiness of men shall be bowed down, uh, which is proud. Haughtiness, being haughty, is like a proud, being pride, full of pride.
Mm-hmm.
And the Most High alone shall be exalted in that day. So we're not gonna be raising up. They're not gonna be. We're not gonna be raising up no idols. We're gonna be raising up the Most High and His Son, the Messiah, Hamashiach. Uh, a day of reckoning coming. Verse 12. For the day of Yahuwah, Slakia, for the day of Yahuwah of hosts, Yahuwah Shabbat, shall be upon every one that is proud and lofty, and upon every one that is lifted up, and he shall be brought low.
That lofty,
Mhm.
the way that it's used in that sentence, it makes me feel like lofty, like not being diligent, or what is prudent, not being prudent.
Okay,
Lofty.
let's
And I
check it.
could be wrong, but
Let's check it out. It's the
room.
Hebrew word room, ru'um, ru'um,
Okay.
to
And I
rise,
was
rise
wrong.
up, be high, be lofty, exalted. Oh yeah,
It's just
so
another word for pride,
pride,
sounds like.
kind, yeah, yes indeed. All right, verse 13. And upon all the cedars of Lebanon that are high and lifted up, and upon all the oaks of Bashan, and upon all the high mountains, and upon the high slack, and upon all the hills that are lifted up. Now, is he really talking about mountains and hills and trees, or is he talking about, what I'm saying, people,
Hmm.
the cedars of Lebanon? I mean, is he gonna really bring down on those for the sake of they standing tall? He didn't make them stand tall, and the
So
mountains and the
he's
hills.
talking about the people of Lebanon and the people of Bashan.
I'm thinking this is a allegory. What I'm saying, to the reference to the people uh, that are lifted
But
up.
yeah, but I mean, it could be both. You know what I mean? Because we know that it's gonna be a great
Destruction.
destruction going on.
Kind. Okay. Okay. Kind. Yeah. Yeah. I can definitely see that. Let's continue. Verse 14. Verse 15. Salakia. And upon every high tower, and upon every forced wall, fence wall, Salakia, fence wall, Salakia. Verse 16. And upon all the ships of Tarshish, and upon all pleasant pictures. Hmm. I don't think we've seen pictures before. We've seen images. I wonder, is that the same word? Sikiyah. Yeah,
Hmm.
images, ships. Okay, I figured that. Well, no, this is the only place it is. Hmm. That's ironic. I wonder why. It's a wholly different. It's got to be a different word because they gave it a different number, and this is the only place it appears. I know I didn't sound like I've seen pictures before. I don't think we've seen that. All right, verse 17. And the loftiness of man shall be bowed down, and the haughtiness of man shall be made low, and Yahuwah alone shall be exalted in that day, and the idols shall utterly abolish, and they shall go into the hole of the rocks and into the uh, caves of the earth, for fear of Yahuwah and for the esteem or the glory of his majesty, when he arise and shake terribly the earth.
And you see on prepping shows where people have
Hmm.
built bunkers under the ground, or in the mountains.
Okay.
Uh, so these it's scriptures are undefeated, man. The
Undefeated.
scriptures are
Hallelujah.
undefeated.
Hallelujah. You're right. 100% on that. Yes, indeed. Verse 20. In that day, a man shall cast his idols for silver and his idols for gold. Salaki, I said that wrong. Let me read that again. Verse 20. In that day, a man shall cast his idols of silver and his idols of gold, which they made each one for himself to worship, to the moles and to the bats. So they throwing them in the ground and they throwing them in the caves. That's where the
Hmm.
moles and the bats are. Verse 21. To go into the clefts of the rock and into the top of the rigid rocks, for fear of Yahuwah and for the esteem of his majesty, when his horizon shall shake, tremble the earth.
Terribly.
Oh, Salaki shall shake terribly the earth. Salaki told Aki. Cease you from man, cease you from man, whose breath is in his nostrils, for wherein is he to be accounted of? So you're not gonna regard what man talking about at that time, because when he's talking about the glory of his majesty, I'm thinking that's a Mashiach.
Hmm.
Am I alone on that one?
Say it again.
Say when he says, let me go back to verse chapter 2 here. When he says right here, uh, he says to the top of the mountains and the rock, for the fear of Yahuwah and for the glory of his majesty.
I would agree with that.
Okay.
Yeah, because that's who he's sending to put
Mm-hmm.
that work in.
That work in, Kyle. I had that same sentiment. Yes,
Yeah.
indeed. Yes, indeed. All right. Chapter 3 here. We're moving right along. And let's continue. The Most High will remove the leaders. So he pulling the leaders out. Verse 1. For behold, the master, Yahuwah Shava'ot, doeth take away from Jerusalem and from Yehuda the stay and the staff, the whole stay of bread and the whole stay of water. What is that stay? Is that a measurement or is that a
Mm.
that's the same word,
Machine.
Miss Ain? I don't know if we've seen that one before. Support staff. Hmm. It was in Samuel. We hadn't gotten to Psalms yet, but we saw it in Second Samuel. Let's take a look at that real quick. Hmm. They perverted me in the calamity, but Yahuwah was my stay. I don't remember that. Hmm. Okay, okay. Just curious about that. Let's continue. Verse 2. The mighty man and the man of war, the judge and the prophet and the prudent and the ancient, the chief of 50, Slaki, the captain of 50, and the honorable man and the counselor and the cunning artificer and the elocuny,
Eloquent.
eloquent, Slaki, eloquent order. I think of a couple of brothers when I see that word, eloquent order. Like, oh, you gonna take away the brothers? Oh man. All right, let's continue. Uh, cunning artificer. Yeah, that's people who that make stuff and the eloquent order. So you're gonna take away the top people. Verse 4. And I will give children to be your princes, and babes shall rule over them. So yeah, I think that's where we at right now. Verse 5. And the people shall be oppressed, every one by another, and every one by his neighbor. The child shall behave himself proudly against the ancient, and the base against the honorable. Wow. That
Mm.
is today, right here. So that's right now.
Indeed.
That is right now. My goodness. Whew. Verse 6. Uh, when a man shall take hold of his brother of the house of his father, saying, You have clothed, you have clothing, be you our ruler, and let his ruin be under my hand, be under your hand, Salakia, and let his ruin be under your hand. In that day shall the shall he swear, saying, I will not be an healer, for the house is neither bread nor clothing. Make me not the ruler of the people. For Jerusalem is ruined, and Yehuda is fallen, because their tongue and their doings are against Yahuwah, to provoke his eyes, Salaki, to provoke the eyes of his glory, and show of their countenance, Salaki, the shoe of their countenance do witness against them, and they declare their sins as Sodom, and they hide it not. Woe unto their souls, for they have rewarded evil unto themselves. My gracious. That's exactly what you don't want to hear. You didn't
Okay.
earn this. You didn't earn this butt kicking. Yeah, it's coming, and
Mm-hmm.
you earned it because you got every right to it. You got every entitlement to it, and that's the last thing you want to hear. Verse 10: Say you unto the righteous, it shall be with you, Slakia. Say you unto the righteous, that it shall be well with him, for they will eat the fruit of their doings. Woe unto the wicked, it shall be ill with them, with him, Slakia. For the reward of his hand shall be given him. As for my people, children are their oppressors, and women rule over them. O my people, they which lead you cause you to err, and
Mm-hmm.
destroy the way of your paths.
Con, you
That's
know,
definitely mentioned AI.
indeed, indeed, our people enjoy receiving a message of
Prosperity.
yeah, and things that are really not going to profit your salvation. That's what we were grown accustomed to hearing in a lot of those buildings we were frequenting on the first day of the week.
First day of the
You
week.
know.
Yes indeed, yes indeed. And that's that's what they want to hold on to. They don't want to let that go and realize that hey, you about to die. Yahuwah about to kill a bunch of us. You know what
Hmm.
I'm saying? It's wicked ones, you about to catch it. So get your mind correct, correct your spirit.
Hmm.
Most High will judge. Yahuwah standeth up, Salaki, verse 13. The book of Yeshayah, chapter 3 and verse 13. Yahuwah standeth up to plead and standeth to judge the people. Yahuwah will enter into judgment with the ancient of his people and the princes thereof. For you have eaten up the vineyard, the spoils of the poor is in your houses. Wow, my gracious. The spoils of the poor. So, yeah, that's today. That is, man, that is, wow. Verse 10, 15. I'm trying not to harp on this, so let's just move on. Verse 15. What mean you? You beat my people to pieces and gird the face of the poor, said the master Yahuwah of Shavaos. Am I saying that right?
Shabo,
Shavaos.
or some people say Zabo,
Nabal,
but
that's what I meant to
yeah,
say.
Zabo.
Nabal, Slack. That's what I meant to say. I'm saying Shava.
And you know what? Yeah, now that I think about it, you got me saying Shabo. I'm wrong too.
Zabal, Slacky, my bad. All right. Yehuda, Yehuda's women denounced. My voice just went up 10 octaves.
Right.
I don't know where that came from.
God.
Let me drink some water, Slacky. All right. Verse 16. Moreover, Yahuwah said, because the daughters of Zion are haughty and walk with stretched forth necks and wincing eyes, walking and mincing as they go, and making tinkling with their feet. Therefore, the master shall smite with the scab of the crown of the heads of the daughters of Zion, and Yahuwah will discover their secret parts. In the day, in that day, the master shall take away the bravery of their tinkling ornaments of their feet about their feet and their cat uh,
Calls.
calls. I was gonna say cat. I don't know where I was gonna get a P from. Their calls and their round tires like the moon. So all of that decoration, all of that, what's the word I'm looking for? Just
Uh or yeah, like you said, decoration, ornaments,
that
uh
stuff that don't mean nothing.
the
Vanity.
extra stuff. And
Yeah,
vanity, yep.
yeah, that's it. All that vanity, he gonna take. He getting rid of all of that. He getting
Hmm.
rid of all. It's done happened once, but he gonna do it again.
Hmm.
Verse 19. The chains and the bracelets and the mufflers, the bonnets and the ornaments over the legs, and the headbands and the tablets and the earrings and the rings, the nose jewelry. See, this is where they getting. This is where people talking about you can't wear jewelry because he's saying he was going to take these things away. Well, Yeah, he did because they didn't appreciate it. You know what I'm saying? They was thinking that they was doing like these women doing today. And I guarantee you he gonna do this again because of this same spirit that was there then is here now. And they still behaving this way. Check this out. Verse 22. The changeable suits of apparel and the mantles and the uh, whippers, Wimples, Wimples.
Wimples, con. I'm not
The
sure what it is, but
Yeah, we have to look at that one. And the crisping pins, crisping pins, the Wimples. So he's taking away the changeable suits of apparel. You know how would that do with these sisters today? Wait till we go
mm,
to the wilderness. You think they're gonna have closets with them in the wilderness? No,
mm-mm, mm-mm.
ain't gonna be no closets. You're gonna have what you got, and you're gonna have to depend on them on Abba, uh, Mitzpah, Atha,
Pop, off,
Ah,
off.
Atha,
Mm-hmm.
a cloak. They say he called it a cloak. That's what wimples are, a cloak.
Con.
So like a overcoat, overgarment type cloak. That's an old English word that means like an overgarment. Verse 23: the glasses and the fine linen and the hoods and the veils. And it shall come to pass that instead of sweet smell, there shall be stink, and instead of gird, a rent, and instead of well set hair, baldness, and instead of what is that? Stomach, stomacher,
Stomacher. Mm-hmm.
stomacher, a girdle of sackcloth, and burning instead of beauty. Burning, my goodness.
Mm.
Whew. Your men shall fall by the sword, and your mighty in the war. And her gates shall lament and mourn, and she being desolate shall sit up on the ground. So yeah, nothing good uh, in this judgment here that's coming down, especially to the daughters of Zion, of our people. So man, it's a lot that can be learned in this particular passage from this the prophet Yirmiah or Yeshayah. Slaki, Yeshayah. Let me skip from four to four here in case we need it. I'm gonna read this last. I'll read this last one. It's only 6 verses here. Then I'll pass it off to you, Art.
Con.
A remnant prepared. I didn't realize it was 6 verses, but all right. Verse 1. And in that day, 7 women shall take hold of one man, saying, we will eat our own bread and wear our own apparel. Only let us be called by your name to take away our reproach. In that day shall the branch of Yahuwah be beautiful and glorious, and the fruit of the earth shall be excellent and comely for them that escaped of Yisrael. Salakia escaped from Yisrael, from of Yisrael, Salakia,
Mm-hmm.
of them that are escaped of Yisrael. So it's going to be excellent and comely, beautiful for them that are escaped of Israel. That's our people. Verse 3. And it shall come to pass that he that is left of in Zion and he that remaineth in Jerusalem shall be called Kodesh, even every one that is written among the living in Jerusalem. When the master shall have washed away the filth of the daughters of Zion, and shall have purged the blood of Jerusalem from the midst thereof by the spirit of judgment and by the spirit of burning. And Yahuwah will create upon every dwelling place of Mount Slakia. And Yahuwah will create upon every dwelling place of Mount Zion and upon her assemblies a cloud and smoke by day and a shining of flame, fire by night. And upon all the glory shall be a defense, and there shall be a tabernacle for a shadow in the daytime from the heat, and for a place of refuge, and for a convert that's from and for a convert from storm and from rain.
Slaki, covert.
Covert. Oh, Slaki.
Hmm.
Covert. Slaki. And a covert from storm and from rain. Covert. Is that like a cover?
I'm not sure. Like when I heard you say it at first, I'm thinking of somebody who had converted. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
came
Like
over. Yeah,
yeah.
Miss Tor. Miss Tor. Yeah, place of shelter. So yeah, so like
Hmm.
a cover.
Con,
So okay, kind Toda. Toda Rabbi, let's continue here. We got a couple more chapters to go through before we wrap up here. Go ahead and take over verse chapter 5, if you will, please.
con.
Toda
This
Rabbi.
is the book of Yeshayahu, chapter 5, parable of the vineyard, verse 1. Now will I sing to my well-beloved a song of my beloved touching his vineyard. My well-beloved hath a vineyard in a very fruitful hill, and he fenced it and gathered out the stones thereof, and planted it with the choicest vine, and built a tower in the midst of it, and also made a winepress, and he looked that it should bring forth grapes, and it brought forth wild grapes. You know, I heard this parable of the vineyard, and I couldn't help but to think about Mashiach.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
I think it's similar in Song of Solomon too.
mm-hmm,
You know what I'm saying? Well, we read that, and yeah, that was so metaphorical.
yeah,
But
con,
yeah, I think it's similar. It's a similar setup in there, with, if I remember correctly.
mm-hmm. All right, verse 3. And now, O inhabitants of Jerusalem and men of Yehuda, judge, I pray you, between me and my vineyard. What could have been done more to my vineyard that I have not done it in it? Wherefore, when I looked that it should bring forth grapes, brought it forth wild grapes. And now go to, I will tell you what I will do to my vineyard. I will take away the hedge thereof, and it shall be eaten up, and break down the wall thereof, and it shall be trodden down. And I will lay it waste, it shall not be pruned nor digged, but there shall come up briars and thorns. I will also command the clouds that they rain no rain upon it. For the vineyard of Yahweh Zabaoth is the house of Israel, and the men of Yehuda his pleasant plant. And he looked for judgment, but behold oppression, for righteousness, but behold a cry.
Oh man, that is yeah. So he's telling us the vineyard is Yisrael, and the men of Yehuda, the pleasant plant.
Mm-hmm.
So we go back and look at that. That's really what he was metaphorically saying here. Fence the stone thereof. Now behold, well-being, beloved, toucheth his vineyard, Israel. My well-beloved have Israel in his fruitful hill. Wow. Okay. Todah for giving us that understanding, Abba, right in the
Mm-hmm.
midst of the text there. Uh, all right, let's continue.
All right. Woes for the wicked. Verse 8. Woe to them that join house to house, that lay field to field, till there be no place, that they may be placed alone in the midst of the earth. In mine ears said Yahweh Zabaoth, of a truth, many houses shall be desolate, even great and fair, without inhabitant. Yea, 10 acres of vineyard shall yield one bath, and a seed of a homer shall yield an ephah. Woe unto them that rise up early in the morning, that they may follow strong drink, that continue unto night, till wine inflame them. You know, it's people like that. It's people
Right
that
here
drink from
today.
the moment they get up. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Uh-huh. Verse 12. And the harp and the viol, the tabret and pipe and wine are in their feasts, but they regard not the work of Yahweh, neither consider the operation of his hands. Therefore, my people are gone into captivity,
Mm.
because they have no knowledge, and their honorable men are famished, and their multitude dried up with thirst. Therefore, hell hath enlarged herself, and opened her mouth without measure, and their glory, and their multitude, and their pomp, and he that rejoiceth shall descend into it.
Con, let's take a pause real quick
Mm-hmm.
and let's just look at that. I'm pretty sure that's Sheol. Yep, yep,
So, yeah, come.
yeah. So that's the grave. That's not a fiery pit. That is the grave, if you can see right here.
Mm-hmm.
That's what he was speaking about. So anybody watching this and be like, oh, as I've heard preachers in the Christian church say that, oh, hell has enlarged itself. Yeah, the grave
Right,
has
right.
enlarged itself. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? Because that's where you're going. And yeah, you're gonna have to deal with that fire too. But that's not what you get right off the bat. You get that after judgment. So let's
Come.
continue.
Verse 15. And the mean man shall be brought down, and the mighty man shall be humbled, and the eyes of the lofty shall be humbled. But Yahweh Zabaoth shall be exalted in judgment, and the Most High, that is set apart, shall be sanctified in righteousness. Then shall the lambs feed after their manner, and the waste places of the fat ones shall strangers eat. Woe unto them that draw iniquity with cords of vanity, and sin as if it were with a cart rope, that say, let him make speed and hasten his work, that we may see it. And let the counsel of the set apart one of Israel draw nigh and come, that we may know it. Woe unto them that call evil good and good evil, that put darkness for light and light for darkness, that put bitter for sweet and sweet for bitter. You know, we definitely heard Mashiach say, something very similar to this
Mm,
in the so-called New Testament,
hmm hmm Yeah, I mean that is profound. Woe, and I've heard this before, but woe unto them that call evil good and
Mm-hmm.
good evil, and put light and put darkness for light and light for darkness, and put bitter for sweet and sweet for bitter. So you calling evil good and you calling good evil. Sound familiar?
Mm-hmm.
Calling righteousness wicked and you calling wickedness righteous. Hmm. He's saying destruction unto them. Ain't that something that we came right here today? Ain't that
And
something?
yeah, indeed, indeed, because this is what we face when we are out in the highways and byways, and a lot of times even with friends and birth family, you know what I mean? This is what we see, what we encounter a lot of times.
Huh?
Huh? All right, verse 21. Woe unto them that are wise in their own eyes and prudent in their own sight. Woe unto them that are mighty to drink wine, and men of strength to mingle strong drink, which justify the wicked reward, and take away the righteousness of the righteous from him. Therefore, as the fire devoureth the stubble, and the flame consumeth the chaff, so their roots shall be as rottenness, and their blossom shall go up as dust, because they have cast away the law of Yahweh Zabaoth, and despised the word of the set apart one of Israel.
I got
And this happened as well. When Mashiach came,
huh.
he was despised of the leaders and the Pharisees and some of the people.
Yes, indeed.
Verse 25. Therefore is the anger of Yahweh kindled against his people, and he hath stretched forth his hands against them, and hath smitten them, and the hills did tremble, and their carcasses were torn in the midst of the streets. For all this his anger is not turned away, but his hand is stretched out still, and he will lift up an ensign to the nations from far, and will hasten to them from the end of the earth. And behold, they shall come with speed swiftly.
Mm,
None shall be weary nor stumble among them. None shall slumber nor sleep. Neither shall the girdle of their loins be loosed, nor the latchet of their shoes be broken, whose arrows are sharp, and all their bows bent. Their horses' hoofs shall be counted like flint, and their wheels like a whirlwind. Their roaring shall be like a lion. They shall roar like a young lion. Yea, they shall roar and lay hold of the prey, and shall carry it away safe, and none shall deliver it. And in that day they shall roar against them like the roaring of the sea. And if one look unto the land, behold, darkness and sorrow, and the light is darkened in the Shemaims thereof.
mm.
Mm.
My goodness. Yeah. Uh, yeah. A lot of judgment and destruction. What we're reading here, and it's going to be. We got 2 more chapters to go, so let's see how thick it get. Because
Mm-hmm.
Isaiah's vision is what this one says. So,
God. This is the book of Yeshayahu, chapter 6, verse 1. In the in the year that King Uzziah died, I saw also the master sitting upon a throne, high and lifted up, and his train filled the temple. Above it stood the seraphims. Each one had 6 wings. With twain he covered his face, and with twain he covered his feet, and with twain he did fly.
hmm.
And
Okay,
one
Slack,
cried, like,
Slack, yeah. What is the seraphim? Let's take a look at that. We familiar with that?
yeah, Khan, that's one of those angelic beings.
Oh, okay.
Saraf.
Saraf. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Serpent, fiery serpent, poisonous serpent, majestic beings. Okay, 6 wings. Okay, con. Okay. Okay, con. All right, let's continue.
All right. Verse 3. And one cried unto another and said, Quadesh, Quadesh, Quadesh is Yahweh Zabaoth. The whole eretz is full of his glory. And the post of the door moved at the voice of him that cried, and the house was filled with smoke. I'm remembering what we read back in Dibbarim,
Mm,
where the glory of the Most High filled the tabernacle, and it's just
con.
smoke all over.
Right. Yes, indeed. And how he ascended onto the mountain and that smoke there. Because
Con.
he is
And
a
I said
burning fire. Hmm.
I said Dibbarim, but I meant Bamidbar. That
Okay,
was back
numbers,
in
con.
Numbers, I believe. Con.
Yeah, indeed.
All right. Verse 5. Then said I, woe is me, for I am undone, because I am a man of unclean lips, and I dwell in the midst of people of unclean lips. For mine eyes have seen the King, Yahweh Zabaoth.
Mm,
I've always wondered about this verse, Ak, and I've never really gotten uh,
clarity.
concrete clarity on what it meant. But what does it mean to have unclean lips?
Uh, so I'm thinking as it deals with unclean lips, that's more along the lines of I've not always said the right thing. I've not always used my mouth properly. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
I've defiled myself with what, because remember what Hamashiach said, and look, that just came to me. It's not what goes into a man that defile him, it's what comes out of him.
Mm,
And that's, I believe that's what he's referencing there.
Con.
Yeah,
That's good. That's good. Yep.
praises.
All right. Verse 6. Then flew one of the seraphims unto me, having a live coal in his hand, which he had taken from the tongs from off the altar, and he laid it upon my mouth, and said, Lo, this hath touched thy lips, and thine iniquity is taken away, and thy sin purged.
All praises. So he took away that mouth that he's defiled himself with, and well, taking away the sin that he did with this live coal. I'm guessing live would be like lit, burning.
Hmm. God.
Let's take a look at that real quick here. Taking away the where is it on my mouth?
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
Live
live right here.
coal is
There it is. Man, I hate when this thing move. Yeah, live code. Here it is. 7531.
rich
Rich,
paw.
rich pie. Yes, indeed. Pavement, glowing stone, or coal, live coal. I'm thinking that live mean lit. You know what I'm saying? It's
Where it's
not
hot
exactly
and
saying that.
orange. Hmm.
Yeah, yeah. So that only makes sense. That context. As a matter of fact, we can look at that. That's verse 6, right?
God.
Definitely fluent to me in his hand. Yeah, said the same dang thing.
Hmm.
I hate when that happens. Give me some clarity. I'm looking for
God.
clarity, and you say the same thing. Let's just copy that word, copy and paste. No, let's go. Let's continue here.
All right.
Laid up on my mouth. Actually, we at verse 8.
Yeshayahu's commission, verse 8. Also, I heard the voice of the master saying, Whom shall I send? And who will go for us? Then said I, Here am I, send me. And he said, Go and tell this people, Hear ye indeed, but understand not, and see ye indeed, but perceive not. Mashiach
Hmm.
using this lesson as well,
Yeah, yeah. He quoted a lot from Isaiah and really from the prophets altogether. But
Hmm.
yeah, that was his go-to.
All right, verse 10. Make the heart of this people fat, and make their ears heavy, and shut their eyes, lest they see with their eyes, and hear with their ears, and understand with their heart, and convert, and be healed.
Mm.
Yehukanan said
All right,
something similar to that as well.
all right, Kyle. Yeah.
Well, verse 11. Then said I, Master, how long? And he answered, Until the cities be wasted without inhabitant, and the houses without man, and the land be utterly desolate, and Yahweh have removed men far away, and there be a great forsakening in the midst of the land.
Mm,
But yet in it shall be a tenth, and it shall return, and shall be eaten as a teal tree, and as an oak, whose substance is in them. When they cast their leaves, so the set apart seed shall be the substance thereof.
mm. All praises. All right,
Come,
we're gonna conclude here with the book with the seventh chapter, and just curious. Yeah, it's only 25 verses, so uh, we'll go into final thoughts for what we read after this chapter. So let's continue, Ark, if you will, please.
come. This is
Hold
the
on for
book of
me.
Yeshayahu, chapter 7, War against Jerusalem, verse 1. And it came to pass in the days of Ahaz, the son of Jotham, the son of Uzziah, king of Yehudah, that Rezin, the king of Syria, and Pekah, the son of Remaliah, king of Israel, went up toward Jerusalem to war against it, but could not prevail against it. And it was told the house of Dawid, saying, Syria is confederate with Ephraim,
Mm,
and his heart was moved, and his heart of his people, as the trees of the wood are moved with the wind. Then said Yahweh unto Yeshayahu, meet Ahaz, thou, thou and Shir Yashub, thy son, at the end of the conduit of the upper pool in the highway of the fuller's field.
Slack you. Hold on one second, Ark. We had lost. Oh,
Yeah, I'm not sure what
no,
happened.
it just bounced. Okay, it bounced. No sweat, no sweat. Let's continue. I thought we had lost Yaliel, but it just bounced, and I heard it click back in. So, all right, go ahead.
All right. Let's see. Verse 3.
Oh, no, verse
Then,
4.
oh, Salakia, verse 4. And say unto him, take heed and be quiet. Fear not, neither be faint hearted. For the two tails of these smoking firebrands, for the fierce anger of reason with Syria and of the son of Remaliah, because Syria, Ephraim, and the son of Remaliah have taken evil counsel against you, saying, let us go up against Yehuda and vex it, and
Wow.
let us make a breach therein for us, and set a king in the midst of it, even the son of Tabil.
Mm,
Thus saith Yahweh power, it shall not stand, neither shall it come to pass. For, for the head of Syria is Damascus, and the head of Damascus is reason, and with 65 years shall Ephraim be broken, that it be not a people.
mm,
So 65 years, that's 65 years, right?
yeah, calm.
So
Remember, see, Ephraim got carried off by uh,
yeah, by the Assyrians.
Syria.
So their captivity was 65 years then?
No, he's saying within that time frame that they're gonna
Okay,
be
got you.
broken and no more people.
Okay, come.
Hmm.
Verse 9. And the head of Ephraim is Samaria, and the head of Samaria is Remaliah's son. If ye will not believe, surely ye shall not be established. The child Emmanuel. This is the book of Yeshayah, chapter 7, verse 10. Moreover, Yahweh spake unto Ahaz, saying, ask thee a sign of Yahweh thy power. Ask it either in the depth or in the height above. But Ahaz said, I will not ask, neither will I tempt Yahweh.
Hmm.
And he said, hear ye now, O house of Dawid. Is it a small thing for you to weary men? But will ye weary my power also? Therefore the master himself shall give you a sign. Behold, a virgin shall conceive and bear a son, and shall call his name Emmanuel.
Mm,
Butter and honey shall he eat, that he may know to refuse the evil and choose the good.
mm. So that butter and honey got to be a metaphor.
Hmm.
Because how is butter and honey gonna cause you to know to refuse evil and choose good? You know what I'm saying? So that's got to have some kind of other meaning.
And kind, I could see the honey like being pure, but we pretty much make butter. But
Hmm.
I don't know, maybe butter is pure too. Maybe it's just the churning of milk, you know.
Mm.
But I don't know. I
S-
think they add salt to it, don't they?
Yeah, they add a few things to it, I believe, to get to butter. Because remember, if he said milk and honey, then that would kind of be more sensitive,
Mm,
more
kind.
sensible. As far as being pure, uh, let's just look at this butter here, curd or butter. Yeah. So this the word is him kahim or
Kim,
owa
Kimha,
kimwa. So
Kimha,
yeah, yeah. I was wondering if it was more along the lines of milk, but no, it looks like it's actually butter. So
kind. Verse 16. For before the child shall know to refuse the evil and choose the good, the land that thou abhorrest shall be forsaken of both her kings.
mm,
Trials to come for Yehuda. Verse 17. Yahweh shall bring upon you and upon your people and upon your father's house days that have not come from the day that Ephraim departed from Yehuda, even the king of Assyria. And it shall come to pass in that day that Yahweh shall hiss for the fly that is in the uppermost part of the rivers of Mizraim, and for the bee that is in the land of Assyria. And they shall come and shall rest all of them in the desolate valleys, and in the holes of the rocks, and upon all thorns, and upon all bushes. In the same day shall Yahweh save Slakia. In the same day shall the master shave with a razor that is hired, namely, by them beyond the river, by the king of Assyria, the head and the hair of the feet, and it shall also consume the beard.
mm,
And it shall come to pass in that day that a man shall nourish a young cow and two sheeps. This is definitely a more
metaphor.
metaphor.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Kind.
Verse 22. And it shall come to pass for the abundance of milk that they shall give, he shall eat butter. For butter and honey shall everyone eat that is left in the land.
Mm,
And it shall come to pass in that day that every place shall be where there were 1,000 vines and 1,000 silverlings. It shall even be for briars and thorns. With arrows and with bows shall men come thither, because all the land shall become briars and thorns. And and on all the hills that shall be digged with the mattock, there shall not come thither the fear of briars and thorns, but it shall be for the sending forth of oxen and for the treading of lesser cattle. Gone.
hallelujah. Praises. So praises.
Mhm.
Wow, that was quite a bit of information given in these passages here. So let's go directly to our final thoughts on these 7 chapters, and I'll begin here if you know, Akeem, don't mind.
Gone.
So, what can I say? Uh, Started off with a lot of description of the evil that our people were beginning with, were involved with at this time. And I'm almost thinking that we should have read this before we read Kings. And
You said before?
almost, it seems like, I mean, am I mistaken on that?
Well, no, I would say that we definitely what we're reading here is parallel to what we read in Kings. You know what I
Oh,
mean? By
parallel.
acts of
Okay.
some of these kings, and I remember reading about uh who was it? Resin. Remember we read about Resin coming down and trying to make war with our people. Oh,
Okay.
Slocky, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No,
Not.
no, 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 no. I recall what you mentioned there. All right. But yeah, that's a good point there that you brought out. But just a lot of man, just a lot to really get into. Uh, just how bad off we were, and some of that same behavior is so highly prevalent in the earth right here, right now. Even the punishments that the Most High, that the Yahuwah Zavaot was promising. We see these punishments concerning the daughters of Zion, baldness. We see that, uh, uh, and other things I'm not going to get into, but we see these things present right here, right now, in this day and time, and to show us that the Most High is not playing. His messenger, his representative, Yahuwah Zavaot, is not playing with us. You know what I'm saying? He's serious and he's straight up about it. Uh, Yet we still see these things, and our people are completely uh, what's the word? In the dark,
Mhm.
or
Ignorant of what's going on.
oblivious. Yes,
Yep.
oblivious. That's what I'm looking for. They are oblivious to the facts, and it's right here in the text. And our people are not being taught these things, and they need to be. They need to understand these. But instead they rather fight against it, much like they fought against the prophets. Uh, was that a Mashiach that said, "Which of the prophets have you not persecuted,
Hmm.
or did you not try to?" Was that? I think that was a Mashiach that asked them, at that time, "Which of the prophets have you not basically sought their life, tried to put them
Okay.
to death?"
He also said, "O Jerusalem that destroyeth the prophets."
Mm-hmm. Kind, kind, yeah. So You know, we've gone through all of these years, all of these generations, and we've not learned a thing. And yet the book has been right here for us. And dare I say, uh, if the regeneration is correct, I'm not saying it is, I'm not saying it's not, but if the regeneration doctrine is correct, if Hazaki Yahu had to come back here again and sit through this thing again because our people refuse to get it. You know, how long? And I've said before, you know, we could have 20 years, we could have 200 years. Who knows? You know, it's up to the Most High when He decide that it's time to, you know, bring it to an end. Um, it sure seemed like we close, but I'm pretty sure that the people on the, you know, on the ships, they felt like that as well. So
Con.
yeah, yeah, kind. So, but man, a lot of good information here, and I was a bit nervous coming into this book. Not nervous in the sense of you know, reading it, more along the lines of dealing with the information coming forth. Um, you know, because I knew this was going to be some pretty intense, you know what I'm saying, information, some pretty intense script. So a lot to learn, a lot to glean, and a lot to realign and readjust in our goings and comings uh, right here today. So I sure hope that anybody listening to this is certainly edified and as well as make the necessary adjustments to be on the positive side and not on the negative side. And with that, I yield.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Uh, Yalia, you want to go ahead
Yeah,
with
I'll go ahead first.
okay.
Laying back off my ox, what he says is a lot of stuff just to remind us of you know some of the stuff that we've done. Getting into the situation here once again. Um, brings perspectives back. You know, the things that forefathers had to go through, had to repent from, had to come out of. A lot of lessons for us to see that they went through, to not repeat the same lessons once again. Um, uh, as the book of Isaiah or Yeshayah goes on, we're going to come across a lot of information, a lot of things, um, a lot of prophecy, a lot of different things to come. And it's a lot. It's a lot to understand. It's a lot to wrap your mind around. Um, but we are prepared to do what the Most High needs us to do at any given time. So we have to let ourselves be guided and used for whatever mission, whatever purpose. If it says living according to the Word, that's what it is. If it's preparing for a prophetic time, that's what it is. And we have to be open and hearing and receiving whatever the Most High guides us to do.
Hallelujah. Yes, indeed.
Hallelujah.
Yes,
You
indeed. So
know,
you,
uh,
yeah.
I knew that this was going to be a interesting read. I've read it before, and you know, it's good to go back over the scriptures. You know what I mean? Because we don't always retain so much information that it's hard to retain the information. But I really have enjoyed reading this, and like a lot of scriptures that we read, it sends us back to our King and our Savior, Hamashiach,
Mhm.
and what he had to say. And to me, just these 7 verses would be beneficial for some of our people that prescribe only to the so-called New Testament.
Mhm.
Um, if they were to read this, they would see that, you know, what Mashiach and what the disciples were talking about was written years ago. You know, they have whole sermons, whole messages, whole lessons that were coming out of the so-called Old Testament.
Right.
Um, you know, we want to be prepared because it says that a wise man prepare himself, you know, sees destruction coming from afar and makes preparation for it, you know.
Mhm.
Uh and the fools are not so. So we want to know what's going on, what's gonna happen.
Right.
So it behooves us to get back into these scriptures of words given to the prophets by the Most High or His messenger, right?
Right.
Um, because this is gonna aid us in what we're gonna face, and also increase our faith, man.
Right.
I bet that as well, increasing our faith, and understanding. All praises to the Most High for yet another wonderful set apart day getting into this word, man.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. It has definitely been a great honor and great privilege to come back another Sabbath and enjoy the word of the Most High, deep into it and getting some good understanding. With that, we will conclude for today. And before we do so, we are going to close out with, of course, uh, the most important Ecclesiastes. I shouldn't say the most important, but one of the most important. Ecclesiastes chapter 12 and verse 13. Let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. Fear the Most High and keep His commandments. Why? Because this is the whole duty of man. And once again, the conclusion of the whole matter is to fear the Most High and keep His commandments, because this is the entire duty of man. And at the end of the day, when all the dust is settled and all the smoke is cleared, when it is all said and done, the conclusion of the whole matter is to fear the Most High and to keep His commandments. Once again, I am your Akazaki Yahoo, joined by my very good Ak Yaliel and my most esteemed Ak Kenanaya. We give all praise, honor, and great esteem unto the Most High Power, Yahuwah, Bahashem, Yahushua HaMashiach, and to the 12 tribes of Israel who are scattered to the four quarters of the earth. I say Shalom, Wabarukim, that is peace and blessings. And I cannot wait to the day that the Most High brings us back together and we are once again 12 tribes, one family, one nation, under the Most High power, under one covenant. Until that day, Shabbat Shalom, family.
Shabbat shalom, Yasharal.
Shabbat shalom.
Hallelujah.